And yeah, that's pretty much it. So in the basic theology or philosophy of Krishna consciousness it differs a lot from Western theology, is, I suppose, the concept of transmigration of the soul or reincarnation. It's fairly common in Western theology and philosophy that the concept of karma doesn't exist. And we know karma as maybe as destiny or something like that, but it's actually a fairly complex phenomenon. It's not a law. It's, you know, in some sense it is a law, but ultimately it really isn't a law. It changes. It has to do with how much suffering and how much enjoyment we have in a particular lifetime. It's based on how we acted in previous lives, according to the principles of reincarnation and transmigration of the soul. The difference in Western theology is that in Western theology, you kind of have to have a witness to see why you're suffering. It's kind of like if you go to court. If you're accused of some criminal activity, usually there are witnesses. Witnesses have to take stands, they have to take vows, and they have to take oaths, and so on. And according to reincarnation, the witnesses don't speak. They're like the sun, the moon, the rain, the land, the water, the local manifestation of Krishna in the heart, the super soul, the Paramatma. They're part of the heart. It's kind of interesting that the concept of karma is not very well known in Western theology anyway. So that's kind of like one of the main differences anyway. And of course we're not the body. Ultimately we're souls. Each soul, according to Vedic philosophy, is part and parcel of Krishna or God. A very unpopular concept, a very unknown concept. There's something in Krishna consciousness that has an absolute nature. It's sort of like when lawyers argue in court. They argue on the basis of precedent cases. Some things have gone before. There's some laws that are written down. There's some cases that have gone before. And both of these things are written down. Both cases that have gone before and laws. According to Vedic philosophy, there's laws, there's Vedas. Veda means knowledge. There are also laws that govern the entire cosmic manifestation. Interestingly enough, human beings are among all the living entities that exist, and among all of creation, all of the universes that exist, we're in a minority. According to the Padma Purana, human beings are only, or the material side of life is only 1/4 of the entire creation. Most of the creation, 3/4 of it, is the spiritual existence, the spiritual domain, spiritual world, spiritual universes. So even though we're very caught up in what we do, we're very caught up in maintaining happiness and maintaining our comfort zones, it's a very small percentage of what exists. What exists is very grand and beyond our perception. These are some of the basic tenets of Krishna. If you have any things you want to say or interrupt me or ask anything about any of this or just about anything at all, I'll try to give a right answer. But basically, that's what karma is, and that's what reincarnation is. That we're souls, we're living entities, we're jivas, according to Sanskrit, jivas. We exist eternally. We've existed in the past, we will exist in the future. According to the way we act now, according to the actions we perform, that will determine our future lives. In one sense, what we're thinking at the time of death is a critical point in which our future is determined. To a large extent, what we're thinking at the time of death is determined by what we're thinking at the time of death determines our future. So someone has to be very careful. These are some of the basic concepts. So maybe you can hand out some of the leads. And how many of you have ever been to India? Anyone? You've been there. How many times?
Many.
Many. To Vrindavan?
7 months. going soon.
Pardon?
I'm going soon.
You're going soon. When?
April, May.
So where are you going, do you know?
Oh, I'm going, yeah,
Which parts?
it's definitely Vrindavan and Mayapur and the
Yeah.
beach goes.
It's a very interesting place. I've also been several times to India, and it's probably the most different place to go if you're Western, if you're from Europe or North America. Very different. More different even than I think than Africa. I've been to Africa as well. The Indian population is a very civilized population, but it's very different. It's a different culture, as you know. It's just a completely different. People there, for the most part, believe in transmigration of the soul. People there believe in God. Of course, things are changing now. Most people, I don't know if it's most, but there are many people that I meet. Some time when we get the English dubbing, there's a film that was made in Germany called Fleisch, Fish, Menschen. It's translated roughly as Meat Devours Man. As soon as the English dubbing is ready, I'd like to show that maybe here. I don't know when it's going to be ready. It's going to be at least a couple of weeks.
What's it about? What is it about?
It's about the problems of physiological problems of meat eating, physiological environmental problems. It was made about 30 years ago in Germany. A very, very well done picture as far as documentary films go.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if we create our karma,
Pardon?
we do our actions and we
Yeah.
have the consequences of our actions.
Yeah.
Does Krishna override by grace our consequences?
Yeah, Krishna can override our karmic destiny, so to speak.
That's the question.
It's possible. According to Vedic philosophy, Krishna can do anything.
Does he override our
If he
karmic
wants to.
destiny?
Generally, he doesn't interfere, but if he wishes to, and if we're devotional, he would be inclined to do it. I heard it said that also our destiny is determined by our facial features and by the lines in our hand. Astrologers supposedly can determine our future by reading lines in the hand and reading our facial features. And there's numerology that supposedly determines the future. But it's been said that when you clap your hands in Hare Krishna and chant Hare Krishna, all the lines in your hand become erased. All the inauspicious birds fly away. This is kind of a poetic thing, because when you clap, birds fly away. So anyway, yeah, destiny is not necessarily fixed. It has a lot to do with how we conduct ourselves. And if we conduct ourselves in a devotional way, Krishna is inclined to intervene and to override the karmic destiny that we've carved out for ourselves.
Is that because we're viewing in a Krishna
Pardon?
sense? Is that because we're viewing in a Krishna, we're viewing with Krishna eyes? Is that why?
Yeah. Viewing with Krishna eyes,
Yeah.
you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. And viewing with Krishna eyes is also viewing from the teachings of Krishna. It's not just seeing Krishna as a deity, but it's also understanding what the teachings of Krishna are. That's the case.
Even if you've been a really good devotee and at the time of your death, you're immaculate, you've done everything right. I had a daydream last week when I was thinking I was pure and I was surrendered, and then I had this daydream when I was talking to Krishna, and I said, "All right, I'm here, Krishna, I made it," at the end of my life, and Krishna says, "Well, where is everyone else?" And I said, "Well, they wouldn't follow me." And then in a stern voice he goes, "Well, go back and make them follow you." So I have a feeling that even if you are so pure, if you haven't got everyone following you, it's like an all or nothing for Krishna.
Well, Krishna does say, as said in the Bhagavad Gita, that the one who speaks about my glories or Christ's presence is very dear to me. And generally, whatever our lifetime consists of at the time of death is what we're thinking of, what we're attached to at the time of death. So it sounds very easy to just think I can do whatever I want to do, and at the the time of death, I'll think of Krishna, but it doesn't work that way. I mean, in a way it does, but in another way it doesn't usually work that way, because, I mean, none of us remember what it's like to die, at least I don't. I don't remember our past lives. But it's said that whatever we were most affiliated with or attached to at the time of death is what we think about. So maybe this is part of the reason. But Krishna is very pleased when his teachings and his glories are being spread to other people. And it may be that if we don't do enough of that through our lifetime, we'll not be able to think of Krishna at the time of death. It's possible. Give you some thoughts.
So if we're attempting to live devotionally to Krishna, we can assume that everything that happens in our lives is for our benefit.
Well, we can't assume that everything that happens in our life is for our benefit.
Is it a correct assumption if we're living devotionally?
Well, nothing is absolutely guaranteed or perfect. Even though we're trying to live devotionally, maybe we're not living devotionally by other people's standards or by Krishna's standards. So it's not a guarantee. It's not a sure thing that we're going to go to a higher existence at the end of life. We have to do our best, but there's no assurance. I wish there were, but apparently there's not.
If we're doing our best, can we assume that situations that happen to us and around us are done by Krishna? Well,
We can assume whatever we want, but it doesn't mean it's reality. I mean, I think it's a little, personally, I think it's a little safe to assume that we're going to get a better existence. It's nice to think that way, and it probably will happen, but assuming it is, to my way of thinking, kind of dangerous, because Krishna can do whatever he wants to do. So these are just some thoughts. Yes?
My understanding, my thought is that like all the challenges that we face and all the good things that we have in our lives is due to our karma and to another way that we are, and that Krishna was orchestrating some of that even if there are challenges, that those are there to help us learn tolerance and learn to love Krishna and like to better ourselves. That was kind of my thought. Is that wrong, I think?
It's not necessarily wrong. According to the philosophy of karma and the transmigration of the soul, it's a combination of karma, what we did in the past, and that makes for good things happening in the present life. But it also can be Krishna directly controlling our lives, making our lives auspicious, whether they were auspicious in the past or not. So in some ways, Krishna can override karma, and he does. But it's kind of like karma doesn't act on a devotee the same way that it acts upon people who are not devotional. So in other words, we all have our destinies according to astrology, but Krishna can override them at any time. And someone who's like all of us who are sitting here, this is good karma in a sense, or we all have good karma, we might say, because we're here, and this is Krishna's doing. But it's also part of our past activities. So it's a combination, and it could be one or the other. But it's not simply because we were well behaved or we acted well in our past lives that we're here now. It could be we could have been an insect. We could have had no thought at all, and we're here because Krishna wanted us to be here. So Krishna can override karma if he wants to. Maybe we were a carrot or a fig or something that was offered on an altar in a past life, and because that action was performed, we became human beings and we're interested in Krishna consciousness in the present life. But in a sense, everyone who's to a Krishna conscious to a degree has good karma because we're here. So both things are acting. Both karma and Krishna is acting. And one could be one thing or the other, or both. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? So maybe you can have beads out. There's enough of them. What we do is, I'll demonstrate how we do it, is we chant on beads. Those are devotees. Chant 16 of these rounds on the bead, on the string of beads each day. That's our vow. And the way we do it, to pass out the beads, is we use these two fingers, the thumb and the third finger, and chant the whole mantra on each bead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The mantra is here on the wall, on that tapestry. It's also behind me. There. So those are the words. Hare Krishna, and we'll do it all together, and we'll go around a string of beads.
Dylan and I are just going on Harinam. Dylan and I are just going on Harinam, that's why they're
Okay.
just catching a ride.
Does everyone have these? Yeah, everyone. Okay. So we'll all start together. And I don't know if you have these?
I was just going to go on Harinam.
Oh, okay.
Should be good.
So anyways, let's start. Hare Krishna.
Hare
And by the way, instead of just holding them steadily like this, you can roll them around. And put your fingers like this.
Is that so that the oil from your hands can go into it so it doesn't turn to dust?
It's just a way of sort of keeping awake. And some people have been doing it so long that the beads have little grooves in them. They're shaped like this because they've been rolling them back and forth for many, many years. So anyways, okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,